Okay, we're in there. Welcome everybody. Welcome and thank you. This is actually a retry from last week. So last Wednesday, my streaming provider, for whatever reason, had issues with streaming it. So I wanted to bring this back because this is a great topic. I mean, a lot of people have been hitting me up. We had a lot of RSVPs for this specific topic personally. So I wanted to bring this back for you so we can get, the education that we need to get out of it so we can get to that next level of our career. So if you're just joining, thank you. If it's your first time to the channel, thank you. Hey, listen, I'm always going to be spitting that knowledge, that insight to help you get to that next level of your career. So today's presentation is only going to be 30 minutes, so we're going to be in and out, but 30 minutes designed for you is titled The Smarter Way to Attract Better Healthcare Opportunities. Of course, I'm going to be your host. I'm Patrick Hart, owner of PDP Media. A little bit about me. Man, I'm the king of pivots. And when I say that, it's just I understood that if I was going to scale and get to where I needed to be, that I couldn't stay just focused in one specific area of my career. Meaning, like if something happened to me, I wasn't going to be that person that just sat there and allowed things to happen to me. I was going to advance beyond that. So spent 6 years in the military, decided I was going to be an airline pilot, pivoted from that, found the mobile home industry, spent 8 years in the mobile home world, became a general manager, overseeing sales centers throughout the state of Texas. Housing market went to crap in 2008, pivoted from that, found healthcare in 2009. And then I found out in healthcare, I was like, man, healthcare is dope. There's tons of opportunity here. I was like, let me see if I could scale this industry and just kind of make this my own, right? So we fast forward to 2015. I took my talents to a technology company. I was business unit leader, had over 8,000 clients nationwide, had a big sales team and a development team in Chennai, India. We positioned that company to be sold at the end of 2018. And then since then, I had a successful exit. Now I've been on this journey to not only inspire, but to connect and help people like you get to that next level of your career and help healthcare as a whole with branding, because we do a horrible job in healthcare telling our different and better story. If you looked at our presentations or the way we describe ourselves, it's generally the same. So now when I was on this journey, I realized, man, there's so many dope people, so many professional people that were so much smarter than me, but they were still getting passed over for opportunities, or they were burned out during the pandemic. I was like, well, how can we reach back to help these people who provide and care for so much for the people that we love the most? How do we help them get to a level where they feel refreshed, renewed? They feel like they're doing their work, they're living in their purpose. So I wanted to, do a little bit of mentorship to help you get to that next level of your career. So this today is all about you. The chat box is wide open. If you can drop your first name and where you're from, that'd be great. I'll make sure to thank you personally and connect with you after today's presentation. So again, welcome and thank you. Today's title, The Smarter Way to Attract Better Healthcare Opportunities. So let's dive into it. If you have any questions, the chat box is open. You can drop your questions in the chat box. I try to get to them as quick as possible. And don't feel like you're interrupting me, because this presentation is for you. So ask your questions whenever they come to your mind and I'll work through them. All right, so welcome to today's LinkedIn Live. You should also know, if you're on here, this is not only LinkedIn, this is also streaming on YouTube as well as Facebook, in addition to LinkedIn. So the audience is gaining, it's growing, and is specifically for you. So listen, if you've been tweaking your resume and living on job boards with zero callbacks, this one is for you. All right, so thank you for joining. I want to share a truth with you. Jobs boards, they're not built to showcase your unique brilliance. The best roles, they're rarely posted. Oftentimes, you have to have a network of people that's going to help you get that opportunity that isn't posted, the one that you really, really want. You need to understand this first. First, let's go back to understanding what job boards are, right? And the transition that's actually taking place behind the scenes. Job boards now are pay for play, meaning you have to pay for exposure. So whether you're a creator, you're paying for ads for exposure, or you're collaborating with other people for exposure. Whether you're a recruiter, you're paying to get your company out there. You're paying for those recruiting services to post your positions, right? Or whether you're an organization trying to grow your brand, you're paying for those spotlights to help your specific brand grow. So it's pay for play. What does that mean for you? That means that you're probably not on their radar. And why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because you need to understand there's millions of people that are on LinkedIn, or millions of people that are on these job boards. whether you're using LinkedIn or any other ones, right? And then there's hundreds of thousands of organizations that are out there. And then there's hundreds of thousands of people that work for these organizations. And what these organizations are doing, they're spending money to brand themselves as the employer of choice. They're spending money to brand this specific position that they're recruiting for, right? And they're doing all this to find that one specific target that they feel is going to help grow the organization. Well, guess what? You're not on their radar. So why are you not on their radar? How do we get on their radar? So this is what we want to do. We want to shift from applying to attracting. And there's an art to that. So we don't want to just apply for positions anymore. We want to attract the right audience, the right position, and to land on people's radar so we become visible. All right. So again, thank you. Welcome. The chat box is open. This is designed for you. So feel free to ask the questions. We're 6 minutes in. I'll make sure we wrap this up in a timely fashion and we give you the insight that you need to get to that next level. So let's talk about the visibility problem. Why most qualified professionals often the most overlooked? Well, one is because they assume that they assume that their qualifications speak for themselves. Now, if you go back to what I shared a couple of minutes ago, there's millions of people on LinkedIn. There's hundreds of thousands of organizations, right? Companies. There's hundreds of thousands of people that work for these organizations. But you're one person in this millions of people, pot, right? And you're assuming that, okay, I work so freaking hard for this organization. I work so freaking hard for this company. I have all these skills, but somehow they're just going to find you on a map, out of the hundreds of thousands, out of the millions of people just in your geographical location. We're talking about the USA. Not only that, you also need to understand there's an international population that I'm connected to. A lot of those people internationally are trying to come to the United States to work for these same employers that you're trying to work for. And you're just assuming because I worked hard and I have these skills that I'm going to be visible enough and someone's just going to scoop me out and say, you know what, Patrick, I saw you. I'm ready to go with you. I rock with you. I vibe with the outcomes that you've been able to deliver. And so we're going to bring you on with our company and we're going to give you a leadership position and we're going to pay you leadership pay. So you're doing all these assumptions, but you haven't made it to that next level yet. Why? Because we're still assuming, right? Here's something that most people don't understand. Visibility is the new credibility. So here you are, you've rose your hand, you say, you know what, I want to play in the game of life because that's what we are. We're all in the game of life. And in the game of life, most of us, unless we were born with a silver spoon, we need some type of financial support to get us to the next level. So whether you work for an organization, you started your own business, whatever that may be, we're trying to become visible because that's the new credibility, right? So that's the market that we're in today. You guys are seeing it personally. AI is coming on the scene. You're seeing more and people are getting creative about showcasing their different and better story. You've seen it personally, how a lot of people are putting themselves out there a lot more, right? To get noticed in today's time, you have to be visible. So I want you to put that in the back of your head and bring it to the forefront of your thought process as we market ourselves. Visibility is the new credibility. Here's the thing. You're applying for positions, but you're not positioning yourself for the role, right? So you go into that job board and we're looking for all these positions and then we hit that submit button. But what have you done to position yourself for that particular role? There's a difference between applying and positioning. And I want you to learn how to do both, right? So we want to position ourselves for a role. Well, people, they're saying, well, Patrick, that sounds dope. That sounds amazing. Tell me how to position myself for that particular role. Positioning is networking, but understanding how to network within a circle of your target audience, right? Remember, they're paying money, they're pay for play to fine tune their target audience. I want to be a part of their target audience. So when they're talking about looking for a leader to grow their organization, they're talking about a speaker to help them grow their brand. They're talking about a media company to help them elevate their presence. I want to be a part of their audience. How do I do that? Well, I create a network. I create a circle of people and organizations that I either aspire to be like, organizations that I aspire to work for, or people at levels that I aspire to be to achieve, right? So what am I doing is I'm finding my target companies, my top 10 companies that at some point I would like to work for. And now I'm building out my network from a leadership standpoint, from a worker standpoint, from a thought leadership standpoint. And I'm creating a network where I'm always one or two people away from being connected to the hiring manager or the decision maker or the person that I would eventually report to. Always. I'm always like that. And then in this network, what I'm also doing, I'm also contributing as a thought leader. So now I'm showing up visibly, and they say, you know what? Patrick has been very thoughtful. He's been very active, been very present on our threads related to the topics that we like to talk about. And what we admire about what he does is it actually resonates with our company culture as well. You see what I'm saying? So I created this network, and then now I'm starting to be a contributor within the network. So not only am I positioning for the position, applying for the position, but I've been positioning myself for an opportunity to work for that organization or for that leader for quite some time. I've been working behind the scenes, and now I became visible, right? So visibility is the new credibility. So let me give you an example. You ever seen someone that's less qualified than you and they get promoted, right? It's not luck, it's positioning. Let me give you an example. We're talking about, we can be talking about any industry, but today I'm going to be specifically talking about myself in healthcare. Let's say you're a bedside nurse, right? You've been in your company 5, 7, 10, 15 years, right? And you still haven't got to that leadership role that you aspire to get. However, there's a new nurse fresh out of school and been in your department, been in working for your organization now 18 to 24 months. So they're fresh out of school. And what they realize is, you know what? I can't compete with Patrick from a skill set standpoint because Patrick has been doing this 7, 8, 10, 15 years, right? But what I can do is something different that speaks to me, which is now I can start chronicling my journey as a new nurse. What does it feel like? What is the day in, day out of my life like as a new nurse, right? Or I think the company that I work for is extremely dope. And I want to share some of the best practices that's been shared with me. And then they start doing that visibly, whether it's through blog sessions or they're creating content on LinkedIn or any other social channel, right? Right? Things like that happen. Those people within 2 years, not only they're speaking on panels, but they're getting director level positions. You think that was by luck? It was intentional because they decided to put themselves out there. Remember, visibility is the new credibility. So that person where you're thinking, oh man, they're less qualified than me. Yeah, they may be less qualified than you, but what they understand is where the trend is going, where the organization is going, how stories are being told nowadays. And it's told through visibility. So we have to get ourselves visible. You can be saying, well, Patrick, listen, that sounds great, but I'm not a camera person. Well, listen, there's other ways to make yourself visible than being on camera. There's blogs, there's writing assignments, there's just commenting on people's posts that you admire, with insight that you glean from. There's ways to be visible without being on camera if the camera's not your thing. So that's one example. Here's another example. What about the new salesperson who came into these new he or she, they're new to the industry, right? But they're not new to sales. Like they have a sales background. However, they came into your industry and they're new to the industry. And then within 12 months, they become the director. Within 12 months, they step into a leadership role over you, and you've been in that company for multiple years. How did that happen? It's not by happenstance. It's not by luck. What they learned from the other company that I need to be more visible in this company. So what they did is when they joined this new company, they start networking internally with each key decision maker within each key department and then build relationships. So when it came time to promote someone or look for a leader, most companies, they want to look internally, right? At this point, this person has positioned themselves as the candidate to be because they made themselves visible and they created this network of connections internally. So when these leaders internally, they put their head together and we have these group sessions. Trust me, I was a leader. We did this, right? And we would decide, well, who should we elevate? Who should we promote, right? And generally speaking, we're going to look for men. We're going to look at the person that's been the most visible, not the person that's been the head down hustling. That's great. You're head down hustling. You're a contributor. But what I'm looking for as a visionary leader, I'm looking for how can you impact and influence the next generation of leadership? How can you impact and influence the growth of the organization? How can you impact and influence the revenue that we have today and where we see ourselves tomorrow, right? So that's what visibility helps you do. And that's an example there. Now I want to get into step one. Let's shift from applying to attracting. How do we attract high value opportunities? One, you want to build a brand that reflects your leadership, not just your labor. Here's what we've been doing wrong. We're using these job boards the wrong way. Everything that we talk about is the labor that we contributed. When did you start building your brand? Your brand is what makes you visible, right? So, how do we build our brand? We want to speak on panels. We want to show up across these job boards. We want to drop value. We want to showcase the way you think. We want to get active on other people's posts. We want to follow thought leadership and leaders who we admire. And we want to make ourselves part of their orbit, part of their circle, right? So we're building a network around our target, right? So we're building our brand, not just our labor. So the way we talk about ourselves is entirely different than from the way you've probably been talking about yourself today, right? Here's the other thing I want you to do. As decision makers, like ask some questions because the visibility opens doors. Treat yourself like a brand that people want to work with, not just a hire. You see what I'm saying? So the thought process that we're working on is we're treating ourselves like a brand and not just like a hire. We're showcasing our value and not just the labor. You see what I'm saying? All of this is tying into visibility. So we're shifting from applying to attracting. And these are some of the steps we do this. I also want to share a story with you that helped me like drive big results for organizations that I work for and personally have helped me today. So one is we talking about, I came from a technology company. We sold that company at the end of 2018. So this is well before the pandemic. And I remember joining the organization. I'm thinking, okay, we're a tech company. Tech companies, we generally like to talk about innovation, right? We generally like to talk about empowerment. We generally like to use tools to shorten whatever cycles that we're trying to use. And I'm like, okay, so innovation. I got a sales team. How can I use innovation to help my sales team drive better results? So one of the things that I implemented with my team is we started using video messaging. This is before conferences, after conferences. This is before presentations, after presentations. I wanted to send you a short, quick video introducing me, our different and better story, ways that we're going to connect afterwards. Maybe here's our solutions, how it's identified, how I've done some research, and I've spotlighted how your company, how your background matched with my company, how we can pivot and do some amazing work together. So I had my team start using video. And not only did we use video, but guess what happens? We started recording video and sending out these personal messages to people. Our conversions went up. Our engagement skyrocketed. Our close rate increased. All this helped us grow revenue in that particular company, or for my specific business unit, 30% year over year, right? Because we incorporated innovation. We made ourselves visible in a time where this is before the pandemic. So not everybody was using streaming software yet, but I was, because I knew the value that it would bring to the table, especially if I was going to be a technology company within the technology space. I needed to bring some visibility to the forefront, right? So that one thing helped me. Personally, what happens when I started to create my company, PDP Media, right? And that's P as in Patrick, D as in dog, P as in Patrick Media, PDP Media. I attended a conference and I met with this young lady. And she's like, listen, I love your story. I love everything you're doing. One of the things that you should probably consider doing is writing a book. I was like, man, wow, that's interesting. I never thought about writing a book. And she's like, yeah, if you're going to be viewed as a credible leader, as a credible founder in any industry, I would tell you to write a book. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I went back and I started working on my book. And I was like, okay, what am I passionate about? What do I have great insight on? And that's scaling people and leadership and scaling organizations as well, right? So I created my book, Hustle to the Top. It's a modern guide for scaling your career. And I'm using tips and tools that are resonant, that are relevant in today's time. We're talking about here in 2025. After I wrote that book, guess what happened? I created myself. I made myself visible. And in making myself visible, the next thing that happened, I ended up on a reality show. Yeah, that happened. I did a reality show. I recorded it last year, around the same time last year. I was on TV doing a reality show for entrepreneurs because I wrote the book. The other thing that happened, because I wrote the book, I landed a spot on NBC News. So I had a feature talking about not only my book, but about my different and better story, right? In addition to that, I've been offered keynote speaking opportunities. A couple of them I've already accepted just because I made myself visible. So that's an example. When you shift from applying to attracting, you attract new opportunities. And that's what I'm trying to help you do today, attract new opportunities. The other thing too is I want you to help you with your mindset. So step two, there's a mindset and positioning tweaks that we need to happen. The tweaks that fast track your promotion path, here they are. Stop saying I do everything and start saying, here's a problem that I solve. Too many people, we talk about we're good at this, that, and that, and that, and the other, right? And we're good at everything. Listen, I get it. You're a dope individual. You're really good at a lot of things. But when we're focused on a position or career elevation, what is that thing that we solve? What are we really, really good at? And then we want to start speaking in that language. Talk like a leader before you even get the title. So now I'm talking about the outcomes that I've been able to achieve from my organization, even though I'm not in a leadership position. I can speak directly from personally what I've been able to contribute and how I know it adds to either the revenue growth or the customer growth or the customer success journey for my particular position and the organization, right? So I'm talking like a leader. Own your accomplishments. Like create a brag bank. These are your accomplishments. So every now and then I'm going to go in my book of tricks. I'm going to go in my brag bank and I'm going to pull out something that I can brag about. Why? Because I'm keeping myself visible. Why? Because I want to keep you in tune with what's going on with me. If you're following me today, once a week, I'm going to share something with you personally or that I've successfully navigated or been through myself, right? Because I'm creating my brag bank. And a lot of you are thinking, well, listen, I don't want to be out there just bragging all the time. Well, if you're not doing it, who's going to do it? I'm going to leave you with that. You expecting somebody else is going to jump on your thread and then speak on your behalf, and that's going to help you get your position? Good luck with that. Let me know how that works out. The other thing too is I want you to shift from I hope they pick me that I'm already preparing for the role that I want. We all know hope isn't a strategy, right? But preparation helps us get to the next level. That's what we're talking about, the networking, creating a circle, being actively involved, identifying our top companies we want to work for, the leaders that work for the organization, the support and staff members that work for the organization, connecting with those people and being visible, retooling our LinkedIn or retooling our bio about ourselves where it speaks more frontward and outwardly as a leader than just as a direct hire, okay? Here's an exercise. Drop one phrase on your resume, right? Your resume or your profile today that needs to be written in a way that reflects your value. Just drop one. Think about it. What's one phrase on your resume or on your profile that needs to be written in a way that reflects your value? Think about that. Drop that in the comments, right? That's something that you can tweak yourself. I mean, even like LinkedIn now, they have AI to help you write certain things. You can use that. Or you can connect with someone like myself or other mentors and coaches around the world to help you get to the next level. So people ask me all the time, well, should I invest in a professional resume? My question to you is, what will happen if you don't? Or have you considered what would happen if you do? I'm always looking at the positive. If I do, there's a potential that I can actually achieve this as opposed to me trying to do this myself, right? Which I have no experience at, or allowing somebody else to do it, like my cousin's best friend who said that they're good at this, but they have no credentials doing it, right? I want to get to the next level. So me personally, I invested in a professional resume years ago. I think that was probably 2008, 2009. I understood where I needed to be and understood my limitations during that time frame. So that's one of the things that helped me out as well. All right, what to do next, okay, and what to stop doing. I want to share this with you. Here's some practical next moves. I think we're good on time. I got 5 minutes left, so I want to wrap this up really quick. Stop mindlessly applying for dozens of roles. Start networking with intention. So we talked about that. Being intentional, identifying our companies, the people, the leaders within the companies, the supporting cast members, creating a network of influence so I can be actively involved in their circle. Use video, brand storytelling, or media to take your value or make your value undeniable, right? I'm visible on a daily, weekly basis now because that's what makes me undeniable. That's what brings me additional opportunities. Send value-driven DMs, so direct messages, right? Follow leaders in the field that you're interested in and comment thoughtfully. Update your online presence to match the job that you want, not the job that you have. This is where a lot of us get stuck. We're speaking to today versus where we want to be tomorrow. So I want my profile to speak to the leader that I'm trying to be tomorrow. So here's a bonus for you. Okay. Let me see if I can copy this and put this in the chat box really quick. Yep. Copy that. Put that right there in the chat box. See if that goes through right there. See if that went through. Okay, I think that went through. Okay, so here's a bonus for you. Hustling 25A Inner Circle preview. All right, so I put together a membership offer. People have been sliding in my DMs. They've been hitting me up. I own a media company, but they say, well, Patrick, I like your approach. I like how honest you are. I like how you keep it on 100. I like how authentic you are. So I put together a membership program. I don't want to be your coach. I want to be your mentor. I want to help you get the insight, the tools that you need to get to the next level. So in my mentorship program, this is called the Inside the Hustle 25A Inner Circle. I'm helping healthcare professionals scale with the monthly support strategy and accountability and visibility tools. Now, I pointed out healthcare because that's who I support, but the tools that I provide, you can truly be within the industry because it's going to be a similar same playbook that you need to navigate to make yourself visible to get that next level, right? Also, in this membership program, you get you get workshop templates, group mentorships, and you get networks that help you move with purpose. So now we're starting to establish our network. And if you're serious about getting seen and getting promoted, then this one is for you. So I just dropped the link in the chat box. You can go to that. Go ahead and sign up for the wait list because it's going to drop later this month and you're going to be in there as well. So I want to wrap this up and then open this up for questions. Listen, the most qualified people are often go unseen because they're quiet. Visibility is the new strategy. It's not vanity. The other thing too, career growth requires positioning, not just performance. So this is where we're changing the mindset whereas I work hard, I'm going to get the position to whereas it's not only about working hard, it's about if I make myself visible and I start positioning myself for the opportunity, then I'm going to get the role. You see what I'm saying? That's a different mindset change as well. And here's my final call. I would like you to tag somebody who's overdue for that promotion, right? Share this with them if you're tired of waiting to be picked, right? Or if they're waiting to be picked. Invite them to my next LinkedIn Live. Invite them to join the membership program. I think it's going to be dope. It's going to help you get to the next level. Also, I want you to join Hustle 25A Inner Circle. Stop playing small and let's play big. And I also want you to know this. You're not invisible. You're just under leverage. So let's fix that. The chat box is open. If you have any questions, feel free to drop your comments below. I'll make sure to navigate and work through those as quickly as soon as possible. But while we're wrapping this up, again, I'm Patrick Hart, former healthcare executive, owner of PDP Media. Now I created this membership program to help you get to the next level. I've been out here hustling on the grind long enough to understand what to do, what not to do. And I'm still navigating this journey as well. So as I bring you fresh insight, I'm still learning from other people as well. This is the game of life. And in the game of life, we have to constantly be learning. And in that learning is where that growth happens, right? So chat box is open. I think I got about 30 seconds left. If you do not have any questions, then slide into my DMs, connect with me afterwards. Also want you to know that I've committed myself to 7 high-level speeches this year. I've already accepted 2, so I'm already well on the way to get there. There's going to be a good opportunity for 5 more. So my schedule's filling up. If you want to book somebody who's great at speaking and keeping it 100, who's honest, right, who can help you get to that next level or move a room to tell about that hustle journey, you want to make sure you connect with me there. And then if you're a healthcare leader and you're looking for a different and better story to help tell your story through media, connect with me or my media company. I will come to you. I will record the behind the scenes messages, help people identify with who you are, your different and better story, your leadership journey, the culture as well. And all that is going to be available as well. So I see you on the other side. Thank you for joining today's LinkedIn Live, and let's keep hustling. Till the next time.